right.
Hey.
I said you all to join me. I guess we have some visitors. Let's go around the room and introduce them.
This is my friend Yuki Hertler. She is a perfectly wonderful woman and healer. She's a soccer person. I see her every Thursday at 1 o'clock. So don't call me between 1 and 3.
My granddaughter.
My principal and my friend Han. Principal RCAS.
This is my friend and colleague Morgan McDrone from Cal Poly Humboldt.
We know everybody's. So brief updates from the board meeting on Tuesday. We met our foundation goal. So thank you very much. 50K by the skin of our teeth. Or 50, 54.
It might be about 54, but that's all the same.
And we wanted to honor a couple of members that one has stepped back last year due to health issues, but I wanted to honor his effort, and we as board decided that he should be an honorary member. So Nick Torres, and unfortunately, Dick Johnson, stepping back a little bit. And so we don't know what to do with this table, I guess.
Yeah, no, I believe they're gonna. You follow my own dictate here. There's actually going to be a bronze version of me sitting right there at all times. I'm hoping that they don't actually just dip me in bronze. No, seriously, I am stepping away, stepping back a little bit, but you will not see me. Because I'll still be coming a regular. Because I don't want to lose the friendship. I don't want to lose the connection that I have with so many wonderful people. Every time I talk about somebody who's in this club with my wife, I say, Shelley, you know, so and so, you're a really wonderful person. But I can say that about everybody in the club. I can, everyone who's here now and everyone who's been here in the past, I have a deep, deep connection with you. And I really appreciate all the stuff that you do, all of the passion you bring to this club, into this community, and to the world. And it's so incredibly moving. There was when you started Tina Turner there, the second song was What's Love Got to Do with It? And I thought, well, that's a ironic song because love has everything. It's all about our love for our fellow people in the world, locally in the world, our love for our community, our love for our planet. And we're working so hard to make things so much better, and it's an ongoing process. It's kind of like eradicating polio. You know, we get close, we're getting closer and closer. We're this close. You're not quite there yet. We're not going to give up. You're not going to give up. Don't ever give up. Okay. So if you do, I'm coming back and you're going to pop.
So I like to say I'm the luckiest duck find myself in those positions very often, and especially surrounded by you guys and all of the support you've quietly given. I'm such a lucky duck. I'm not even a duck anymore. I'm a flamingo. So you get a disco flamingo. And stop me if you don't want one, because I love them. Who was that? Kairos? Thank you, AJ, for hosting. Thank you, Stephanie. August 26th is fast approaching. We are having a kickball tournament. We paired up with Arcade of Noon. It's our first fundraiser of the year. Okay, so there will forthcoming volunteer opportunities or sponsorship opportunities, and you can play kickball if you want. But you can also cook. I'm against it, but it's okay. So just keep an eye out for opportunities there are meetings that are every Wednesday or every other Wednesday in July, and then we'll pick it up in August, but just keep an eye out. A little mini. So I wanted to just, do you have an update? Or, did you host again?
We did. There was a kind of a wrap up. There we go.
Yeah.
Then we had a follow-up, some of the boxes that weren't done, and Ashley bought a crew in, and boy, they were great, smaller group, easier to manage, and anyway, I think they're really close to getting done, and they're being distributed back.
There's a spreadsheet. You're
Come here.
Okay, so they're pretty close to being done. We're gonna send out a Google poll for everybody that has the current library, currently got your friends, and we're gonna try to do at least 1 or 2 paint days together to wrap it up. And that way we can get it done. I mean, we're not gonna do it by the end of this year because it's kind of short notice, but we'll get it done this year.
Okay. They all have rooms.
Stay here, so making sure. So I'll let you know.
So while we're on art projects, one thing I wanted to do for fellowship was a painting class with Charlie. And I wanted to see if anybody else was interested in that sort of thing. For painting. Okay, so we'll work. We'll work on dates, we'll work on cost, but if that's something that plenty of you are interested in, okay, cool. All right, let's. Is that enough time? Seven, 8, 5, 1, 6, 6.
All right.
785-121.
Right here. Oh, it's Marty's. Oh, it is, it's yours.
Where's that? Where's it?
Yeah, did you take it? Okay. Not eager.
So Shoshanna's last step, becoming a fully fledged Sunrise Rotarian. Detail is presenting her craft box. So here she is. And I will
Let's put it the flag. Let's continue the flag. Thank you. And thank you, Vanessa, for welcoming me into the jury and sponsoring me very much. I'm trying to get all these things done before the end of her year. Here, actually, I'm just gonna do it with a pause. I think that's fine. I'll go back. Okay. I'm a long time local. I was trying to dig through your books. I work at the library now and County Library, and upstairs they have all the yearbooks, and I've been able to find the yearbooks. So you have the humble room at the Eureka Library. It's pretty fantastic. They don't have elementary school library yearbooks, but they have all of the high school library, high school yearbooks from across the community. So you should really go dig through those sometime. And we have school groups go through there. They always want to find their teachers yearbooks. But I was born in Fort Bragg. We moved here to Eureka, then to Arcata when I was little, at the Pacific Union and Arcata High School. I left a year early from Arcata High School to run off to college a little bit early, but loved a lot of those years. It's kind of fun that I was trying to find little Rotary connections when I was finding pictures and different memories as I was kind of going through. But my grandpa worked for the AT&T, the Pacific Bell, for his whole career, and my dad worked for Pacific Bell, SBC, AT&T, all that for his whole career. So a lot of phone companies. We always had phones in every room, and a lot of phones. I had my own phone number really early. A lot of fun things. I have various names and layers of names. But I like Shoshanna the best. That's my more recent one. There's even a Rotarian in this damn picture in this here. Not sure what to say. It might be Hannah. That was one of my only dance performances on point. I realized that those were really not my favorite mechanisms of torture. So I found barefoot. They're pretty painful, those point shoes for me. I wasn't that into them, but I got a couple of dances I did in them. I also worked at Adoption Horizons, one of my first jobs that I had that just closed their doors this year, which was kind of bittersweet going in and talking to Cindy and those folks. One of the dance teachers I had in high school is Ramon Reynoso, who now has a dance studio over in the Down West area. So he's trying to follow the dream of starting a studio. So he's trying to have classes going on there, which is great. And he's been a part of our community for a long time, since about that year-ish. So my first job though ever was at Health Board in the Kids Corner, and my boss was actually the wonderful Elizabeth Adams, who was here in ancient times for her super awesome restaurant catering directions, but kind of fun for a minute. And that Dance Expressions at Studio in McKinleyville that Stacy Salazar's mom was one of the founders of. Many years belly dancing, North Country Fairs, the North Lawn Stage right over there on that side of the plaza is a very favorite place of many dance groups in our community. It's beautiful grass to dance on at the plaza. But this one up here is my very first performance for a dance company called Shaken Not Stirred. It was local, that lots and lots of years of performances. Now I coordinate that part of North Country Fair. So one of those annual events that I would love to be a part of. And rain or shine, North Country Fair is awesome. And it's such a fun community celebration, and something a lot of the performers really work toward. It's our samba season finale, right? And also a lot of groups really get excited about dancing there. So always fun. I love looking in the audience pictures and seeing kids that later are performing and dancing and being part of it. So I recognize many years of the kids there. So I love some of these pictures I was looking through, because this is the now Mazzati Tomo, which was a favorite place. I'm just barely old enough to be able to go. I couldn't go in unless there was a show going on. So I don't think I was old enough to go in really. But then this is where the in between the Arcata Theater being a movie theater and then a venue. This was that in between time where we danced before the ATL came in, but a little later. So just kind of fun dancing lots of the venues and places around our community. I'll pause on my husband for a minute. You guys know him as that goat guy. So I was mentioning my dad went through a phone company, and my grandma was the one who definitely gave me the love of lipstick and earrings and gardening. So I love those additions to my universe. My mom was the enabler of all those things, having me go to dance classes and tons of different styles when I was little, making costumes. My whole life, she was always a costumer. And as I started belly dancing from here locally, trying to pursue more in dance, coming out of the Humboldt County area, traveling to the Bay Area, traveling to other events. and started to travel around the country more. Her business grew and grew, costuming first dancers at the dance studio, those ballet costumes, she made those, but then turning into a belly dance costumer and making clothes that were fit to different people's body types. Like a dance company might have 20 people of really different heights and sizes, and she specialized in customizing things for everybody. So she built a whole business that actually had a warehouse, a little business in the same building as Jessie Girl over at West End Road. So a great little incubator for a lot of different cool businesses. Her business ended up, after she retired, it didn't keep going, but it was cool to have that be a part of our life forever. Now she makes paper crafts and won't make me any clothes. but pretty nice to see her entrepreneurial improvisational experience work out, which was great. My husband, well, my dad works. My dad went to Humboldt State a long time ago, and he got his degree in biology, went to work for the phone company, different directions. But my husband and I also are alumni from Humboldt. He was a forestry major, and he was a professional lumberjack in Wisconsin. I think that's a nice slide, for a couple of years where he did crazy shenanigans. You guys saw him jump on the fences and things at the goat farm if you were there. Was Cypress Grove. But he did the lumberjack sports from here at Humboldt, then went off to be a professional and was in the ESPN lumberjack championships, like world lumberjack championships a couple of times. But he did the speed climbing, like where they climb to the top of these poles and down in about 14 seconds. It's ridiculous. They fly down the pole. It's crazy. Watch the videos of it. Silly things. But the log rolling, where you try to make people fall off and running across logs, it's really silly actions. So yeah, so he's a great guy to chase after goats. He can keep up with the silly goats. But we've been together since about 2001. I went to Humboldt with a degree in, I got my degree in art history and graphic design, and a minor in dance and a minor in psychology, and I was there 8 years, and I really loved it. I started a dance club that ended up putting on lots of performances and events, and started teaching a class as the dance department had been kind of knocked down to the bare bones level, but then to bring more classes in, I was teaching as a student, as a directed study project, and then later as a volunteer, and then later as a part-time faculty member. So I've been teaching a class there since 1998 when I was still a student. For a minute, I was student, staff, and faculty because I was working at the graphic design. That was kind of fun. But I put on lots of shows there, taught lots of classes. Right now I'm teaching Middle Eastern dance. It's every other semester, but I'm still part of the part-time faculty pool. They have a new tenure track teacher starting this semester, who's a former person from our area. So it's exciting to be part of the transition that is Cal Poly Humboldt more. In 2008, I started a dance studio in what had been the dance center in the Creamery building in Arcata. I danced there a lot. I love my first dance classes, and the belly dance and modern dance were there after I ditched the point shoes. And I love that building. I was part of the haunted house that was there, part of, so actually, first time to the haunted house was in the now in the body space, but followed that around for several years to be a part of it. And this space, this floor, this dance floor, this beautiful, wonderful wood floor had a lot of love in it for many years of dancing, like since the 80s, for a lot of dance communities. So many years of the African dance scene, the samba scene, swing, break dancing, capoeira, belly dancing, so much, but a performance venue as well as, for me, a party venue, doing lots of birthday parties, kids camps over the years. So mostly my last 20 years or so has been a lot of gig lifestyle, improvisational entrepreneurial journeys as well. A little more of a not-profit journey than modeled after a non-profit, and then try to keep it going. But my darling daughters, you know, Amira on the side here. This is the early days, lots of dress up fun. But they have their own style, their own fun. They started out with really sparkly, dressed up fancy stuff. Now Amira has a shoe that she's in Germany right now with her German class from Arcata High School, and loving traveling. Only sends me one-word answers and mostly pictures of the host family's dog. I think we want you, not the host family's dog, but she's like fine at Germany right now. The other one was going to be here with me this morning, but decided not to. We're leaving town after this. And she took an extra hour of sleep. I told her there might be bacon, which was almost enough. But I've got a 7th grader at Coastal Grove, and then Amira at Arcata High School, and she's a new treasurer for Interact, and she's excited to be involved in it. She's loving getting involved in everything. And lots of things in Arcata. I'm part of a lot of community events. For a long time with the Chamber of Commerce, I've been the Halloween fairy That was Andy Scott and Emily Davenport's awesome idea, and I was able to take that on and do lots of pictures. Kind of like doing pictures with Santa, but I think I'm a little less intimidating to some kids because they're usually pretty cool taking pictures. I met Jeanette. They're doing a lot of things. We put on the Berry Festival together, and the Snowflake Queen idea. It's fun. I think that was so fun once I found Romy in one of the pictures from the Chamber of Commerce ones, which is fun. She's a pirate there if you don't recognize her. But that's been a lot of fun for years. The dance studio business over the years, definitely it's harder to keep it going when the changing economy. I think definitely some of the cash flow situation has changed. It was harder for some teachers to keep their classes going, which made this regular schedule tougher to maintain. So the not-profit really was a not-profit for a bit. So we started turning the dance studio into a nonprofit organization, which it is now, which has a board, which is the only way it survived COVID, and as to community support, which is amazing. It was too new of an organization to be able to apply for any support for different organizations, but it was able to survive somehow fairly. Now it's doing pretty well in the Creamery building, which is great. I still teach classes there a little bit, do some birthday parties, but mostly I'm not. This was my epic favorite trip with dancing. I went to Egypt in 2019, and it was a pretty spectacular journey to be able to be able to be part of some ancient places, a lot of cool contemporary experiences, studied a lot of music and dance teachers from Cairo, Luxor, and Aswan who don't travel here. So be able to go to where they are and get lots of wonderful costuming. And I didn't know I should bring an extra suitcase, but wonderful 3-story dance store I want to live in forever. But I got to see the pyramids, which was fun. What else do I have? My favorite, so COVID pivot, definitely for sure. Birthday parties and kids camps were not such a thing during COVID, and dance classes and all that. So I was pretty unsure what to do, but I know Rotary and Interact really helped to make this one possible. This was the epic 2020 full moon Saturday night Halloween. That would have been so cool, and then it was COVID, and so we decorated the plaza in an epic, fantastic way, different quadrants, different 8 of different themes, and some of you may have been there. I don't know. Some of you might have been there for that night, but we backed up traffic on the freeway. Kids were waiting, like, why do we have to wait? It took an hour to get to the plaza from the freeway. It was pretty fantastic for people who were able to be. That was one of my favorite moments of 2020 was hanging a giant spider between the palm trees and having and people dressed up really a lot in their cars. So people were really fantastically fancy in the cars. So that was, I think, a highlight. It was really fantastic to be able to do a lot of try and figure out ways to make eyeball tree. That tree was a wonderful eyeball tree. The giants rocking out with the giant skeleton right down there. But it was a lot of fun to be a part of small and then larger events the last couple of years. And then and trying to find this year, the theme is more like, a lot of fun. I got to officiate a wedding in the center of the plaza on May Day last year with giant bubbles and a maypole. Like, we had like 1,000 people out there for this event, but I married our Hum Bubbles. They're a wonderful couple that work at our local schools that make giant bubbles. A friend of mine said the other day that she thought that I have kind of a random skill of bringing all these random disparate small things together all at the same time. So there's just a bunch of Berry Festival that's like that, and this May Day event. There's just a lot going on, but there are all these little things happening all over the place. But that was pretty cool last year. And trying to decorate last year, we tried to decorate was a little extra tricky. And my husband making the things happen. He climbs things. He climbs lampposts and climbs all that. And rocking out with Santa and the wonderful Bojangles, the elf. Joyce here. The fire truck was really fun. It's a couple of years, but trying to get ways to cruise around town. We had this parade, Santa parade, with like one car. We had two vintage cars and Santa and the fire truck. That fire truck doesn't really stop. Kind of exciting. And what else? Now I'm at the library. I'm now the Youth Services Outreach Coordinator at Humboldt County Library. I saw this one position. I never really applied for a regular full-time job before, but being able to be at a place where I could have benefits and a job, where I could have a full-time thing where I wouldn't be as impulse driven to keep doing like 1 million hours a week for something, but I don't want to be the last one out of the library because I have to set the code, so I leave. Like driving a band at the car, I have a phobia of those. But I was at Rocking the Mouth Festival earlier this year. I've been at a lot of events around the community and going out to Wichipec and Orleans and Redway, and I'll be going out to Petrolia on Tuesday, just going out to the far corners of the county. I feel like I've spent a lot of time in Arcata the last few years, but being able to hop out to the other corners of the county to bring a little bit of that sparkle stuff fun out to the corners of the county. People love it. They really appreciate it. It's fun. And it's a whole new little place to explore. And I'm based in the Eureka Library, which I feel like I'm in Eureka so much more than usual lately. But I'm mostly connected with First Five Hubble, so we do things with them. My position's mostly funded through a grant through First Five, so I mostly focus on little people. We don't have a children's librarian right now in Eureka, so I'm being a little extra right now. And that's I'm doing that. But library's really fun. If you haven't been there, come paw through the yearbooks. Kinetics. I've got my own little aspect of kinetics as a kinetic fairy princess. And get to grant. I'm an associate kinetic fairy godmother, where I get to grant wishes on the racetrack. She still grants wishes, but I get to help with that a little bit during the weekend. And I help with the upholsterings, asking people their favorite sculptures, and get to make some trophies. This year I got to help judge the champions of tomorrow, the teenager team, which was pretty fun. There were two awesome teams. One team fell apart on the Samoa Bridge in a dramatic fashion and had quite a tale. They ended up winning. For me, they really were rock stars. But the Arcata High Six Rivers team was also rock stars, and they were spectacular and amazing. This is a team that Adam and Amira were raced on and aced. They aced, and then looking at it, they were right up in the top couple point-wise. Like, that's kind of cool. But they had a machine that was a rehabbed machine that had been sawed apart, taken apart. It was in the back at Eureka High School, and they have now a machine the art started about 6 days before the race. So there's a lot of paper mache improvisation in our backyard, explosion of glue and saran wrap. But it worked. It didn't fall apart. I was shocked and amazed. So I'm very proud of them. And they're like 4 father-daughter teams on their couples on their team, which was really fun. A lot of teenagers. And the Berry Festival, that was a crazy wild event out there on the plaza that day. People were stepped up incredibly for their costuming, and we had a costume contest with giant dragon procession, maypole dance, which was not as good as it could have been because I was losing my voice, but it was a lot hard to do those community maypole dances. And 58 vendors and 15 lounges, hangout, interactive art areas around the space. There's just a lot for all ages and fun. Lots of music, aerial arts, dance. What else? I think that's about it. Oh yeah, last weekend I had an epic Star Wars party. That's also Adam and Yoda in the corner, so that's pretty fun. But we had sometimes birthday parties still happening, so the studio now sometimes gets transformed into crazy directions. Just sometimes on Sunday mornings, the only day I can. And there's dancing. I think that if everyone has any questions, I'm very excited to be here. I'm trying to, for Rotary, I'm really excited to try to be a part of things rather than trying to do the things myself so much. So we're at the library, being part of a bigger system, which is great, and being part of Rotary, be able to help out with things and be a part of things and not have to be the ringleader of things. My new goal. Any questions at all?
I thought you had a question.
Oh.
I was just curious when you put it to sleep.
Yeah, I was sleeping earlier because like usually I'm going till 1 or 2 in the morning, but this morning I'm light. I'm so shocked I'm here every time. Try to get here early today. That's the last thing I have to do. I told the sergeant of arms one more time. I think, but that's earlier. But thank you so much. But then
We wanted to honor you with your blue badge.
oh,
I'm completing your task.
but I did do that one.
Gotta maintain that level of energy.
Have you met me? Well, thank you, Shoshanna. That was amazing. We don't need this slide. Okay. So more disco flamingos. AJ. Thank you for just quietly being amazing. Every sign up genius running the community service committee, being secretary for me, which is a terrible job. Thank you very much. You get a disco flamingo. Don't keep the glass, it's just to show off the light. Sophie, our treasurer, who is the recipient of my crumpled up receipts and pictures and kept a level head. You were amazing. Thank you very much. And just, yeah. You're not obligated to keep it in there. And to Ian, his gentle guiding hand, and for taking on treasurer and being AG and just generally stepping in every opportunity you had. And any need that we had, you did it above and beyond. So. All right, to cupcakes. Tom, thank you for hosting us and our constant mini library madness and for cutting out the things. For just providing the glue so we could just be there and mess around and being incredibly patient with our novice woodworking. If you want a cupcake, come up and get one.
I think you've got something here.
I didn't want to give you something that you had to put in the cupboard, so you get a cupcake.
Oh, yeah.
Marty, thank you for your constant, consistent aloha spirit. Thank you for getting a fire truck to Mexico. Thank you for everything.
Thanks so much.
Charlie Jordan. Thank you for making sure when we took a field trip, we had coffee. And creamers and, okay, we'll pass it forward. Who wants a cupcake? Thank you. Let's see, Bob Johnson. Just, he wants a cupcake. Really for being yourself.
Barely.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. This way. Wow.
Oh, Charlie, I got the gluten-free one for you.
Oh, I'll take it.
You go well with coffee.
Yes. You have your choice. Claire, I really admire your note-taking management, and this is going to be the same for Jessica Cheever here. It's incredible to, if you can't make a meeting, the notes are there, and you can see it happen in real time. It's really a powerful way to organize a very complicated process that is exchanged. So thank you.
Sound at the door.
Okay, I'll do that. Dustin is really the reason I joined Rotary. He wasn't my sponsor or my mentor, but he's very responsible for encouraging me to join the board, to be president. He always just generally says yes. So thank you very much.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Where's my list? Oh, Amanda Nilsson.
Recently at the White House.
Yeah.
Okay, so kind of a big deal. Really trying to, even though I don't use it, incorporate Slack. And been really failing. You're a wonderful, powerful board president, and thank you very much for your energy.
Thank you.
So in this moment, the gratitude box has been floating around. Did anybody put anything in it?
Yeah, I've seen it over here.
Oh, that.
Anybody want to share? Otherwise, we're moving on. Okay. Oh, sorry. Stephanie and Romy that ran the yard sale. Thank you. That was not a light bit of work. Would you like a cupcake? And for setting up the pyro and navigating her process.
Ian's navigating me, navigating her.
Ian, do you want a cupcake?
Who that's seen these cupcakes?
Oh, my gosh.
It's gorgeous. Sorry.
I also wanted to thank Craig for being a historical perspective, we'll say.
Doing a great job. I mean, anybody who will take on the president's job, Janice, when she joined the club, she said, why would I join a club that I don't want to meet someday? And I hope everybody will actually think of that. Because Rotary trains you well, you go to vets, they give you all the information, and pretty much committees do all the work. Here's the president, just think. The committees do all the been there.
Okay. I would like to thank nobody for taking pictures at Juneteenth and sending them to me.
We were working.
All right, Rebecca, come on up.
I actually took pictures at one of those events, but they were of our incoming president, and I'm not sure if he wants to share them. But I'll share them with you.
It was a great, we were like hammering and putting up things and being told what to do. It's very unique to not be in charge of the event and to just volunteer. So we volunteered.
It's amazing watching Rotarians' heads about to explode because they're choking down what yardage it is.
Yeah, there were some issues with how they ran it just because we run a lot of events. We're pretty pro. So, but it was our pleasure to set up. I heard it. Because everybody else at my table almost figured out to call Brandy.
Brandy. There's plenty. But there are also other things to do. So we're going to celebrate Terri Clark. She is my pick for Rotarian of the Year. Plaque forthcoming. Come get a cupcake.
Well,
You all know how much I love this organization. And, when I used to belong to the Rotary Club of Southwest Eureka, and in 2006 was heavily recruited to join this club by Janice Newman and Wendy Nelson, both past presidents. I realized that coming here meant that I got to belong to the Rotary Club that was where my heart was. And when I used to be in the other club, I had a great time, and I got to be district governor, and I did all that stuff there, and they were really supportive. But when I came here, I realized that you folks are really my people. This is my village. You guys are you're all me. And I really appreciate your support, and every crazy idea that anybody comes up with, somebody in the room will go, that sounds like fun, let's do it. And that's the kind of can-do spirit, even though it's 7 o'clock in the morning, which I know is, not everybody's time. But I'm usually awake at 5, so this is kind of, brunch for me. Anyway, thank you. I've been in Rotary 31 years now, and I'll be maybe not 31 more years, but I could make it that long. I'll try. Anyway, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Love it.
And the foundation is what we do. And to have a constant reminder, encourager, pushy sometimes, insistent voice in the room that this is what we're raising money for. It all comes back to us, or it goes out in the world, and it only does good things. So why not? Why not participate? That's so. Yay! Thank you. And then I wanted to celebrate John. Come get your cupcake. And if there's anything left in your glass, let's raise it to him. Or there's around, I guess. Your job is to create hope in the world. No pressure.
Well. Thank you. The last 6 months or so, as I've been getting ready to be president, I've seen how hard it is and how to do it. So, thank you. I 90% ready. Yeah.
Thank you.
This job.
Oh, pardon me.
We're not done with you yet.
So, being president, no easy task, I'm excited for your year. So I'm going to present you your replacement badge. Vanessa.
Provided with this an excellent year of inspiration, and congratulations, because as soon as you ring that bell again, you're officially past president.
Hey, look this way. Thank you.
Nicely.
And I guess we can bring up one more honoree, Brandy, come on up. I have a pin for you as the new president-elect.
Yeah.
Very presidential. So then I also wanted to celebrate Peggy. Congratulations on your.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And we wanna hear more.
I don't have a pin for that. So she got married at the Eagle House. Are you gonna tell us anything about it?
It was really fun. Eagle House, they catered, they did the bar, they did the cake, they did everything, one-stop shop, great venue for a wedding. We had a DJ, we danced, my sons had a great time, quite a great time, didn't we? Thank you.
So just my last little bits of information, there is a digital version of the Rotary magazine. Hunt it down if you are sick of recycling the one. And there were so many other people to thank, but a lot of them are not here. Oh, but we have the gratitude box. In this bit. Right, so, and let's thank Elizabeth and Sherry for being our hostesses with the most. Breakfast at dawn is not fun. Please throw a little bit in the kettle as it comes around. And that is it for me, unless I say things to somebody.
Several have signed up to help at Purdue Pride this weekend. It's kind of the final grand finale of Pride Month for Humboldt. So Purdue Pride this Sunday, march from the old steeple, everybody meets at 10. And I'm sorry, March starts at noon. So. But there's still spaces. They found out that the community hall does not have garbage service, so at the very end, everybody can take a bag. They'll be clean on the outside, so take a bag, wrap it up, and take it with you. But there's still plenty of room to help and or to observe more party.
All right, I've got a lot of gratitude. I'm just gonna read this. Thanks to everyone for bringing your open, honest, and fun self to our Rotary meeting. Rotary is always such a safe place. Thank you, Vanessa, for a wonderful year. So grateful to be part of this amazing club. Love to thank you for supporting Arcade High School Interact. There is a good community that is the top club in the Northern California Partnership and Service. Torres for helping with Little Free Libraries and all of us unskilled craft. Add all the wonderful things, thank you cards, energy, and words of encouragement. To Howard, who quietly and firmly leading our program committee, ensuring entertaining and important issues are shared with the club, and for single-handedly driving the district master grant. He did every bit of that work. Cheers! Cheers! Well, there's any other last bit of nonsense?
Wait, what were all those 1, 2, 3? Is those all thanking you?
Yes.
Oh.
There's plenty of cupcakes to share. They'll be by whatever's left of the cocktails.
Before you ring the bell,
Yes, sir.
my last official act is a dishonorary member. Thank you. I think, yeah, we got a lot of past presidents, future presidents too. In this club, out there in the audience, and they know the ups and downs of Rotary year. And I'm telling you, you did a hell of a job. And we are gonna stand up and thank you.
Well, my loves, I'll see you in 2 weeks.
All right.
Ready to party?
2 weeks.
All right.
Life's out.
No, 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 we're not.